just over 4,400 pounds. This is the new 24 JS Grey Wolf here at Haylett RV. What does JS stand for, you ask? I have absolutely no idea. I do know, however, that this is an awesome little no-slide couples camper, complete with outside kitchen that also has an ice maker. This is a feature-packed little trailer right here. This is a neat little addition to the lineup. What's kind of really neat and interesting to me is this is a floor plan that the Cherokee family used to make years ago, and it just sort of fell out of favor. So you're thinking, why are they reintroducing it? A couple things. There's an interesting trend of what is old is suddenly new again in the RV industry, but Cherokee now, they're better than they used to be. They're doing some key things different from what they used to, and one of the areas that was impacted the most as just a result of their more modern updates is the kitchen area over here. So you got this big sofa side breeze window on the bottom right. You've got a kitchen breeze window on the bottom left, but you notice you have a full overhead cabinet up there. That's something that this had lacked previously, so they've added more storage. Now as we come over here, the little touch and updates to those bevel glass inserts on those kitchen doors, they really help break up the kind of monotony and just give it a little bit of shape and character. And the skylight that they've added up here just pounds a ton of extra light, although you do have a little shade here so you don't feel like an ant under a magnifying glass. Now as we scan our way down, you can see we've got that partial stainless appliance bundle, and I really like that sharp modern looking angular Furrion vent hood right above that stovetop. But as we get down here, this right here is where the updates really make themselves known. They're now using better thermofoil sealed edge countertops as compared to conventional T-molding. But what's neat is you're not just using it here in the kitchen. You'll find they're using it on the dining table, in the bathroom, anywhere there's a table, they're using, or a top, I guess, they're using a better top. Even that little wing out extension right there so that you have a place to set a drink if you're by the stove. You also know easy reach appliance outlets right there in the middle so that you don't have to go stringing extension cords all over the place. Normally, historically, this floor plan had just absolute crap for prep space. It just didn't have any because the stove and the sink ate it all up. But the better countertops allow them to recess the sink as well as use one of these tempered glass kind of flush mount stovetops so that when you need it, you actually have a very respectable amount of prep space in this little trailer. But when we look a little bit further underneath that skin, even more little sharp updates become very readily apparent, like that beautiful skirted stainless farm sink right there. Gives you a big place. You can actually wash bigger pots and pans. You could wash a baby. If you're camping, you have a little baby, you could easily wash that baby in this sink, baby. Now, I've got the sink cover down here on the stove, but you notice it's just this big, heavy-duty, one-piece item. So if you, like I said, really need to use it for countertop space, it is heavy enough it can really hold up to that. Now, there's a little angular sort of visual block right here under that sink area, and that's because there's things like your water pump down there, and they don't want shifting cargo to bust it up. You could theoretically remove that at your own risk, but it does give you a place for a little wastebasket, and a pair of plywood full extension drawers right here and ball bearing glides, and that's something that they lacked on this floor plan in the past. Like I said, they've done a bunch of little things to really bring this one to life. From here, I want to draw your attention down. You can see the flooring. It's good looking. It complements the interior decor very well, but it's also completely carpetless, other than that little lump right there by the wheel well, by the way. And the fact that it has no vents in the flooring makes this camper very kid-friendly, cleaning-friendly, guest-friendly, pet-friendly. And being pet-friendly is something that this brand has become a little bit better at over the years, and there's a couple little widgets outside that we'll talk about on that. Now, I want to note up top, not only do we have the skylight that's lacked in the past, but this also now has central air conditioning, which is something that it lacked in the past. So, again, there's just a ton of good updates here. If you want to, there's that square bracket against the far wall. You could mount yourself a little flat screen TV should you choose to add one to the RV. There is a Bluetooth stereo system in the left-hand side of that overhead cabinet right there. And it also has HDMI and USB plugs on it, so it can be very streaming stick friendly. I love this monstrously large campside window. Notice that it opens for airflow. And to the left of that window, you have household and USB plugs. Now, this can fold down into a sleeper, which is what we're going to see in a second, but anywhere that you could sit or sleep in this Grey Wolf camper, you're pretty much going to find some kind of USB and or household plug right next to it. You'll find pleated shades for privacy, as well as keeping the sun out of this thing through the whole camper. Also, you'll note that both the sofa and the dinette can fold down into bonus sleeping spaces. Obviously, we're looking at the dinette right now. We'll see the sofa in just a minute. You might also note that they did not waste a single opportunity for storage space in this little Grey Wolf camper. If you lift up that 3/8 decking that you're sitting on there, you've got full access to sort of like storage trunk areas below the seating, but of course, you know, you've got another of those full overhead cabinets above the seat as well. The rear bathroom in here is fantastic also. Like you see, you've got full shower surround paneling here. We've got a full-on skylight. I like the radius shower track to give us a little more elbow room. But where you start seeing the more modern differences, the things that are going to make this more successful than it was historically, the bigger Max Air vent fan up here to give you some really awesome, superior whole house airflow. And that is also the reason why this door is slotted. Sometimes people note that the door doesn't go all the way to the ceiling. Well, first of all, like they always say, like, oh, you'll lose your privacy. I don't know about you, but I can't get my head up here well enough to be able to try to see anything. And first of all, gross. Anyway, secondly, but the fact is, heat rises. So you can leave that fan on, you can leave the bathroom door closed, and it will suck the hot air out of the top of the RV and exhaust it out that fan, which is pretty nice. Now, you might have noticed how we had great leg room over here, and you have room to actually get dressed when you get out of the shower. But you notice, too, you got a big old sink right here, and I love that sort of triangular point behind the faucet. Perfect place for toothbrushes and whatnot. Now, Cherokee's always very good about giving us great vanity space and storage space there, but above the outside kitchen, you are just blessed with this huge extra cabinet area. If you want to turn this into a hanging closet, into a pantry, into storage shelving, you can do a little bit of anything and everything you want with it. Now, I will admit, this RV has one major defect. You're looking at it. Now, from the back of the RV facing forward, this, I think, was a really good decision. They opted for an open concept. You have an open bedroom design with a privacy curtain that you can pull across to enclose that front bedroom area. I like it because it makes this little camper not feel quite so little, especially considering the color palette that makes the RV look and feel larger and the extra large windows that they're using wherever they can, like beside the bed. Now, you note that you've got that folding central armrest on the sofa right here. It's a handy little feature just to give you more of like a sort of theater feel, you know, from your sofa. And remember that should you choose to add a TV, that sofa is basically facing directly at it. Now, if you need to really maximize your seating space, you could always flip that armrest up and get rid of those armrest bolsters, which is exactly what you do if you want to flip that sofa down into a little bonus sleeper area. So you've got your, it's a couples camper, but you could sleep up to 4 here if you put one on the sofa and one on the dinette. There's going to be someone that tells you this is a 6 sleeper because the sofa and the dinette each sleep 2. Get real. Another neat little trick a lot of people don't seem to realize is these jackknife storage sofas. You can, there's a sweet spot in the fold point where they'll just kind of cradle themselves for a little bit. And that lets you get down here to get to this sort of like bonus storage chest. And just like the dinette, they just didn't leave anything to go to waste. Now we've got a simple walk around front bed up here. Gets the job done. But what I like is that we have a full overhead cabinet. They didn't waste the opportunity for that. You've got his and her sort of reading lamps, mirrored hanging wardrobe closets. And then look at the side stands. Both sides of the bed have both household and USB plugs, so that whether it's CPAPs or phone chargers, you've always got what you need. And a big window for extra light, makes the RV look bigger and lets you see your campsite with a full pleated shade to always maintain privacy when you need that as well. One of the things I like most about the exterior of these is the distinct lack of decals. You've got a couple decals on the nose and on the side that say Grey Wolf, so that you know it's a member of that Cherokee Grey Wolf series. But other than that, what they've done is a really intelligent use of very good-looking color banding. So if you notice, everything on this is basically just painted aluminum. It's not going to be subject to sun fade, peeling, flaking like a lot of things could. Now, another thing that helps this thing look good over time is that stone guard up front, but a lot of RVs have that. What you don't realize is that you have a like 60% thicker nose skin on this thing. It's a 0.04 thickness aluminum up front. What that means basically, guys, is the entire nose of this is effectively kind of like diamond plate. It is very resistant to stones getting flung at it, and most of the stones aren't actually that would hit the upper nose. That wouldn't come from you, they'd come from oncoming cars, kind of like when one cracks the windshield on your vehicle. We have a power tongue jack, we have a power awning. Those features are dime a dozen, but what is not a dime a dozen is this right down here, the integrated A-frame that these Grey Wolves ride on. It's one of the differences between a Grey Wolf and its big brother Cherokee. And it's kind of cool because what it does is it allows the RV to be just as big inside, but they lower the floor, they lower the entire center of gravity on this thing. So it means that it is shorter outside, you know, so you got less overhead clearance issues, you have less headwind issues, you've got less of a lot of issues. We do like to build these with the optional enclosed holding tanks, just to give you that extra little protection from debris and whatnot. We do have a full outside utility shower and a black tank flush, and those are awesome little features right there that help define this as more than just entry level. I don't think that your Cherokee Grey Wolf series really qualifies for that because they have such an advanced equipment package. And this is an example of somebody had their head on straight right here. You see this simple little white light right here? Well, this is a courtesy light by your dump station so that if you need to at night you can actually see what you're doing, because the last thing you want to be doing when you're messing with sewer stuff is guessing. Am I right? You know, you want to have a pretty good idea that everything's hooked up properly. What's also smart is that courtesy light is on a completely separate switch from everything else, because the last thing you want to be doing is blinding your neighbors, since that light would kind of point, like, I don't know, right at the dining room window or maybe bunks or something like that. So you can flip it on for as long as you need it and flip it off and not have to worry about angry, upset neighbors. These do have fully walkable roofs. You've got a 3/8 roof decking, 16-inch on center roof and wall studs, 12-inch on center floor studs on a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood flooring, which is pretty common construction outline in this class and category. So to me, it's not so much of the how it's built, it's how it's actually assembled and appointed. You know, that's what helps define these things. Like this back here, this 200-pound cargo rack, and you notice the spare tire mounts right to it, so you don't have to find a place for that. The spare tire is actually an optional piece of equipment we add to these. I can't imagine not offering a spare tire to a customer, and I have to really question the kind of dealership that does something like that. What is nice though is, again, it doesn't eat up cargo space, and you do not need to take that spare tire off to drop that cargo rack in the back. There's plenty enough room, it'll take care of itself. Now over here we got a little camper, a lot of big features. Like, it starts right over here in the corner. Just a neat little thing. It is actually good to see the RV industry becoming a little more pet friendly and pet conscious, because I know a lot of people have gravitated toward RVing as opposed to, you know, hoteling it, since it allows them to bring their little four-legged furry kids with them right here. Alternatively, ladies, you could use that to keep your husband from walking around and causing trouble at the campsites. I know that that has worked for my family in the past. We've got a, this is a cool thing, and this is another one of those areas right here where this is really well defined as different from the 232 RB J-Flight that we also offer here at Haylett RV, is that this one has a compact but feature-packed outside kitchenette. And here's the other thing that I like about this. Well, there's a bunch of things I like about this. Let me start from the top down. So obviously, we got the extra refrigerator, which more cold storage is never the wrong answer, and it saves you from tracking dirt through your RV. But we've also got an ice maker built in right outside, and in a way you've got, like, you could call it like a little campsite courtesy shower, but it sort of functions in a way as your sink over here, your little wash basin with your cooktop that you can slide open, obviously. Now this is a metallic countertop, so God forbid it gets a little wet, no big deal. You know, you can, if you gotta wash it, scrub it down, it's not gonna swell. But one of the other things I like about that is that if I stand back here, look at how low to the ground that cooker is. A lot of RV outside kitchens, because they have to be mounted above the RV's floor, they're really high in the sky. But because gray wolves ride a little bit lower to the ground, that thing is far, far easier. So if you do have something on it, like you're not gonna bacon grease splattering at your face, which is kind of nice. Now over here under the awning, you got a sweet little patio area. LED lights under the awning, as well as just little accent neat lights behind the speakers is always a nice touch as well. You see the good looking mag wheel package. Now a neat little note on these tires, you have pressure indicators on your valve stems. If that thing flips from green to red, you know without even grabbing the tire pressure gauge that, hey, we need to put some air in those tires. Just a handy little feature. And outside TV hookups, should you choose to upgrade your entertainment and add one. The bigger entry handle, the anti-slam door that catches itself, and the MORryde stable steps are a 1, 2, 3 punch package right there to make for easy coming and going. And because the steps themselves, those feet go all the way down to the ground, they're supporting your weight as you come in and out, whether it's adults, kids, whatever, walking in and out, it'll keep the whole trailer from rocking and rolling around. Another neat little note on this awning, this is a 2-finger easy tilt awning. That's all it takes. It'll hold itself right there. And what's kind of cool is it's self-correcting, so if you leave it like that and then you close the awning, it'll straighten itself up and come back out flat the next time. You can't screw it up. You can't mash it all up or anything like that. Simple side mount solar prep plug right next to a large cavity where you could put a simple side mount solar prep or solar panel. You know, all kind of makes sense. And that's the thing. Everything on here kind of makes sense. If what you're looking for is smaller, but you want some nicer features, you're not necessarily looking for pure entry level, you're not looking for basic, you want a little bit more fun, but you just don't want a big giant camper, well, this one definitely fits all those bills. So give us a call. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.